On Father's Day in 2005, three young brothers spent the day with their father, enjoying what should have been a happy family outing. Just a few hours later, all three boys would be dead. Their father's car had plunged into a dark farm dam near a quiet Australian town. While the father escaped alive, his sons remained trapped inside the vehicle and drowned. What initially appeared to be a devastating accident soon became one of Australia's most controversial murder cases. Investigators began asking a disturbing question. Did Robert Farquharson intentionally drive his car into the water and kill his own children? This is the Robert Farquharson case. Robert Farquharson and Cindy Gambino had been married for years and shared three sons, Jai, Tyler, and Bailey. Like many couples, their relationship eventually broke down. The marriage ended in separation, and Cindy retained primary custody of the children. Although Robert still saw his sons regularly, friends and family later described him as struggling with the collapse of the marriage. Some witnesses would later tell investigators that he appeared bitter about the separation and blamed Cindy for the breakdown of their family. Despite the difficulties between the adults, the boys reportedly loved spending time with both parents. No one could have imagined that a routine Father's Day visit would end in tragedy. On September 4, 2005, Robert spent Father's Day with his three sons. 10-year-old Jai, 7-year-old Tyler, and 2-year-old Bailey enjoyed the day with their father before it was time to return him to their mother's home. As evening approached, Robert loaded the boys into his Holden Commodore and began driving along the Princes Highway near the town of Winchelsea in Victoria, Australia. The road was familiar. The weather was clear. Nothing seemed unusual. Then, at approximately 7 p.m., the vehicle suddenly left the roadway. Instead of staying on the highway, the car crossed the opposite side of the road, drove through a gate, and plunged into a nearby farm dam. Within moments, the vehicle was sinking beneath the water. Robert managed to escape from the vehicle. He later claimed that after the car entered the water, he attempted to rescue his children but was unable to reach them. A passing motorist soon encountered him. Witnesses described Robert as distressed and covered in mud. Emergency crews rushed to the scene. Divers eventually located the submerged vehicle. Inside were the bodies of Jai, Tyler, and Bailey. All three children had drowned. The deaths shocked Australia. At first glance, it seemed like a terrible accident. But investigators quickly began noticing details that didn't quite fit. Questions emerged about how the vehicle had traveled such a direct path into the dam. Why hadn't there been evidence of braking? Why had the car crossed the road so deliberately? And most importantly, why had only one person escaped? Robert insisted the crash was an accident. According to his account, he had suffered a severe coughing fit while driving. He claimed the coughing caused him to lose consciousness behind the wheel. By the time he regained awareness, the vehicle was already entering the water. This explanation became known as the cough-singing defense, a medical condition in which intense coughing can lead to temporary blackouts. His defense team argued that Robert had no intention of harming his children and that the deaths were the result of a tragic medical episode. But prosecutors weren't convinced. They believed something much darker had happened. As detectives dug deeper, they began examining Robert's relationship with his ex-wife. The prosecution alleged that Robert was motivated by anger and resentment over the failed marriage. According to investigators, he wanted revenge against Cindy Gambino. One witness became particularly important. A friend testified that Robert had previously made disturbing comments suggesting that harming the children would be the ultimate way to hurt their mother. Prosecutors argued that the crash scene itself supported their theory. Experts testified that the vehicle's path appeared deliberate. They claimed there was no convincing evidence that Robert had blacked out. Instead, they argued he intentionally steered the vehicle into the dam while knowing his sons were inside. The defense strongly disputed these claims, arguing that the prosecution's case relied heavily on interpretation and circumstantial evidence. Still, the case moved toward trial. In 2007, a jury found Robert Farquharson guilty of 3 counts of murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. However, the legal battle wasn't over. 2 years later, the conviction was overturned on appeal due to concerns involving one of the prosecution's key witnesses. A new trial was ordered. For many observers, the retrial represented a second chance to determine what truly happened that night. In 2010, after hearing the evidence again, a second jury reached the same conclusion. Robert Farquharson was once more found guilty of murdering his 3 sons. He received a life sentence with a minimum non-parole period of 33 years. More than 2 decades after the deaths of Jai, Tyler, and Bailey, the case continues to generate debate. Robert Farquharson has consistently maintained that the crash was a tragic accident caused by a medical blackout. Supporters argue that questions remain about the evidence and whether investigators correctly interpreted the events of that night. But courts and juries repeatedly concluded otherwise. For many Australians, the image of a submerged car in a quiet farm dam remains unforgettable. They determined that the crash was not an accident, but a deliberate act that ended the lives of 3 innocent children. A Father's Day outing that should have created memories instead became one of the country's most heartbreaking and controversial murder cases. And even today, one question continues to divide opinion. Was it a tragic accident, or one of the most shocking acts of family murder in Australian history? Thanks for watching. If you enjoy true crime stories from around the world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for the next case across the map.